Welcome back to Sampstra Games, the place to find new strategy games, and today we're gonna play Breach Wonders. Now, if this game seems familiar to you, that's because we played a demo during some of the Steam Game Demo Festivals, and now the game has come out into early access, so I thought we would check it out again. It's actually done quite a lot since the demo, so I like it quite a bit. Now, you can also check out the roadmap here, which I quite like, so you can see what's going to be in the full game. I find the weather effects interesting. Seen it in some, this is a roguelike deck builder, by the way, in some games like Deck of Ashes, where certain areas had like special effects, so I think something similar will be here with the weather effect, and I think this is a really cool thing. Another thing, they're gonna have storylines and quests. I'm quite curious about this could be really interesting because you know, quests are not that common in deck builders. Like I guess it depends what we imagine under quests, because like we often have events and things like that. But if there's going to be like a special quest, like try to find a specific creature or something, it could be interesting. This could be new depending on how they spin it. I feel daily rounds. This is something that we commonly have in deck builders. So yeah, so this is a lot of cool upgrades. Now we're gonna go and we're gonna play. Now you start off this game in this kind of general area where you can get upgrades and new cards. So what's interesting about this game is that you have this collection of cards, and essentially when you start a game you can sort of pre-pick your starting deck, which I think is quite interesting. So you can pick your own deck of cards, and if I remember correctly, you can also somewhat assign which cards you will discover during your run. In the Forge, if you have enough money, which we don't, you can get permanent upgrade for your heroes. In the market, you will be able to purchase new items that you can equip. In the quest board, you can see how well are you doing, and etc. Now, what's interesting about this game is it has like a depth system, and essentially the idea is that if you finish a run, you go to a deeper depth, which will allow you to unlock new cards, but also will make the game difficult. This is something similar, I would say, to something like Ascension and Slay the Spire, where essentially the further runs are going to be more difficult, but here the depth is also linked to new cards, not just to the difficulties. I think that's quite interesting. So let's start a new run. Alright, so here we have our hero. Currently I only have the first unlock because I don't have enough money to unlock the others. So I have Rao down here. I can choose how I want him to look. So I could change his, I don't know, clothes, or... yeah, let's make him red and orange. It's like a bit ridiculous, but we'll go with that. You could also unlock new skills that he has, again, if you move to a higher level. So we're currently just at level 2. Raodan is a powerful frost mage using his magical powers to freeze enemies and cast powerful spells. His cards are all about freezing enemies, gaining mana, and are strong, expensive spells. So I'm not gonna call him Raodan, I'm gonna name him after one patron. This is going to be Arcus, and here we can jump between the different depths to increase difficulty. So we'll do depth 1, why not? Now I have the default deck here, but what I can also do is I can actually create a new deck of cards. So these are kind of like my basic cards, and I can pick 12 of them to be my sort of starting setup. And this is kind of like one of the things that make this game a little bit more interesting, is that you don't play with the same set of cards every time. Now you unlock these new cards from which you can pick by finishing rounds. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm actually gonna pick the cards by myself, and then I'm gonna show you the cards once we are actually in combat, instead of walking through this here, because I think it's better to see the cards actually in practice. Alright, so I picked my deck of cards, and now we're going to start the run. Quite excited for the cards I pick. I'm quite excited to explain it to him. Now this game has an interesting effect system. We're going to talk about it once we get into the game. It's a little bit different than the way typical roguelike deck builders apply effects. Now here on the left top you can see an inventory. This is interesting because you can get equipment that gives you specific upgrades. Essentially it changes your stats, so to speak. Here we can view our deck of cards. We can rest once per this map. And then here we've got Ether, which we can use to open new pack of and unlocks new cards, and then Gold, which we can do to upgrade ourselves. So we're gonna go through here so that we can get an event. Sorry. Now here we can see mana. What's interesting in this game is that mana is persistent between turns. You gain +6 mana every turn, and then it will stay. So if I end the turn now, next turn I will get 9 plus 6, which is 15 mana. You can go over the limit within a turn. For example, I can go up. For example, I can play the Chilling Focus, which gives me +2 mana and gives Frost to all enemies. So I'm going to do that right now. So you can see I can go over the limit, but if I end the turn, it's going to fall to the limit. Shield also works a little bit differently than most games. Again, it's persistent between turns, so it doesn't disappear. And just like mana, it can go over 10. So for example, I can get it to 16, then they both do 8 damage to me, and then it's gonna fall to 0. But if at the end of their attack I have still some over the limit, then it's going to fall to the limit. Next, we're going to talk about the effects, because the effects work very differently in this game. So typically in deck builders, you do an effect like, for example, freeze the enemy. It will just immediately freeze the enemy. Here, each enemy has their sort of like a bar, and you need to fill it to give the effect. For example, what Frost does, if I fill their bar to 10, it will stun them, essentially. It will stop them from one turn. And the bigness, I guess, how big the Frost bar is depends on the enemy. So if you're fighting bosses, this might be like 12 or 15. And also from the way I've seen it, especially with bosses, the bar can change throughout the combat. So it can be 10 now, but it can change if it's the right type of enemy to, for example, 15 and 20. So it's going to be more difficult to freeze them later and later on. So this is something to keep in mind. Now, next thing I'm going to pick is I'm going to play Divination. This allows me to draw more cards. So next time I'm going to be able to draw 1 extra card. Then I can play Predict, which allows me to increase the mana limit. So I'm now up to 11. And then I'm going to play Strike, which allows me to hit the enemy twice. Now I have a healing card, but I can't use it. So I'm just going to end my turn over here. You start with 12 cards at the start of the game, and then you gain more. You cannot refuse to get a new card. So something to keep in mind. Now I can apply 10 Frost to any enemy, so I can stop one of them from getting a turn, but right now that's not the most exciting thing for me. I'm probably gonna play it anyway. So let me show you. This is a really good card. Deal 8 damage to an enemy, deal an additional 8 if the target is frozen. So we're gonna start with the Frost Strike though. This is gonna give every attack I do will also apply Frost. So we're gonna play this. And you can see we applied 1 Frost. Then I'm gonna play Chill, which will make this guy frozen, and then with Pierce I can do 8 plus 8 damage, which is essentially 16 damage, and it will give 2 Frost because of that effect that I have. So you can see it can be a really good idea to combine these things well. I'm gonna use the Ice Blast to free this guys, and use a Chilling Focus. Now you can see that this is now over limit. That's kind of pointless. That's not gonna help us out. And also it increased the bar, so the bar is now 15. So if I want to freeze them this time, I actually have to do more damage. Now I'm gonna play the Sledge, which is gonna give them 4 Frost. I'm gonna try to get myself more mana. If I use a Frost Strike, I won't quite be able to freeze him, but with the Pierce I can still finish him off. So you can see that I have a very strong freeze build. I have cards that just give me like a constant Frost, like the Chill, and then I have cards that do double damage if the enemy is frozen. Now I've got some gold, we got some ether, we already talked about those, and then you can also get experience, which allows you to level up. Now, as you can see here, I cannot refuse getting a new card. I can get a Fireball, deal 5 damage to all enemies, give them burn. I can deal 6 damage to any enemy, increase this value by 3 this combat, or give, I like the Vulnerable, because we have a lot of cards that do like multiple damage, so having an enemy being vulnerable is quite useful. Now let's do an event. With a bit of luck, you spot a small hidden cache of supplies near your path. Let's loot it. While you check what you got, a group of assorted plant creatures advanced toward you. If this was an ambush, they're not very good at it. Okay. You have time to prepare for the fight. Now, because we have a certain types of cards, we can apply a condition effect, so we can attack while they're disorganized, because I picked 3 skill cards. If I didn't have the skill cards, I wouldn't be able to do it. So this is another really interesting thing in this game, is that you have these conditions. I quite like that. So because we ambushed, they have a 50% chance of receiving critical damage. So we're gonna start by putting Frost on everybody. And then I think we'll go with Chill at the first one, so he can't hit me. And then we'll do a Frost Strike to the first enemy again, because that's how that works. 3 times 2 to the first, so everything's gonna go on the first enemy. Okay, I should have used the chill on somebody else. I wasn't really looking at the cards, because some cards, they only have an effect on the first enemy, can't choose who to put it on. Now, they're putting Arcane on me. This gets filled to 10. I will take 10 damage and reduce the rank of my buffs by 1. And I will get 5 in Frozen and Shocked. So Arcane is actually pretty rough. Now, I'm going to... What can I do here? I could gain a shield, which is always useful. And I think I'm just going to use Spears, even though I can't really get the double attack. I can still hurt him. And we also do more damage, I think, because... Oh, he's not vulnerable anymore. Okay, so we didn't get... Still, I'm going to use the vulnerable just to finish him off. And I can also heal myself for full HP. We'll get it for 7, so we'll lose it. I do like having a healing card. That's why I picked. Like, the main cards heal me for 6 HP. I think it's always important to get things like that. Now, this Predict, what it did is it gave me mana. So, mana boost. So, every turn I get a little bit more mana. And it gave me Growth, which means I increased the maximum mana that I have. Deal 10 damage to any enemy. Apply 10 frost to it. So, I'm going to use it on this guy, so that he cannot have a turn. And then I could use the Pierce. I can't because I don't have the mana. Okay. Wanted to use the Pierce, I would be able to do 16 damage then, but unfortunately that doesn't work. Still, I can still freeze somebody. Let's freeze this plant over here. And we'll use our Pierce attack on it. Gain 2 mana, gain 2 shield, and we'll do some damage. Now, you can get equipment that allows you to take the damage you do on the first enemy and copy it on an enemy behind him. And that's actually a really cool ability, because that can do like a lot of damage. Okay, we killed one of the enemies and we're gonna do some healing, because why not? Again, we get hit for 7, but we at least get the healing back. Divination is interesting because it allows me to draw 1 extra card each turn. But these Frost Strikes, and then with Pierce we can do double damage again. Alright, choose a card. Draw the top card of your discard pile. So this is interesting, so I could play something and play it again, essentially. But it's a pretty expensive card. Gain 6 shield, reduce the rank of your debuffs by 1. This is actually really cool. Or another Corrupted Blast. Oh, but this blast is towards the first 2 enemies. Yeah, I'm gonna pick that. Corrupted Blast is good. Alright. I always like to first play the cards that give me more mana, because it's always good to have more mana. Alright, we'll start by giving vulnerable to the first enemy, and then vulnerable to the first 2 enemies. So we did a lot of damage to these guys. And we've got 12 shields, so we're gonna actually protect ourselves from any attack they do to us, which is huge. Divination to draw more cards. Frost Strike. And I can still play Ice Blast. I could kill the first enemy, but I don't think we need to. I'm going to use the Ice Blast on the second one, I think. Because it's going to allow us to do a lot of damage. And I'm going to heal myself because I can. Next time we can kill this one very easily. Yeah, they're giving me Arcane, which is a bit rough. Let's play Slash. This will kill... first enemy. Oh, I think they had something like Thorns because he hit me back. Let's give Frost on... See, if I use Frost, I can't... Frost gives me 10 damage and 10 Frost to an enemy, or I can use Chill and a Pierce, and Pierce will do 16 damage. So I'm gonna use Chill and Pierce to kill this one. And my turn, let them hit me. We have Growth, which increases our max mana, and Wits, but we do not have... we are not getting more mana. Right, I'm gonna use everything to get my mana. I'm gonna use Divination and Corrupted Blast because I can use everything. Now they are going to give me more Arcane, which is not great, but we didn't get up to 10, which is good for us. Always heal yourself, and then we'll start with Ice Blast and a Pierce. Dead. Beautiful. The thing I really love about this game is you can really create like a specific build, and that's something that I find that's a lot of fun with deck builders. It's just being able to create the build that you desire. Because sometimes, you know, it can be often like you're very much dependent on the sort of randomness of the cards, but like you can see even with my basic setup of cards, I've already created quite a specific build, right? And I can just kind of keep building them. For example, this thing is really okay. Oh, I forgot. I thought this was wits. I love if you can gain wits and mana together. Growth is good because I can get more mana, but it doesn't allow me to actually draw more cards. And the problem is if you have too many cards that give you mana, you just will have too much mana and won't be able to use it. Now we could do an event or like in a higher, more difficult fight. We're gonna do a more difficult fight because so far it has been pretty easy. Yeah, I said that now I'm gonna lose all my stuff. Let's do 2 mana frost on all enemies. We'll give vulnerable to everybody. I'm gonna play divination because I want to get more cards in the future. And there's no need to use mends because we're at full HP. Not anymore, but we were when the turn went. Mind Seed. Alright, this guy's doing 12 damage to me, so I'm gonna try to freeze him and then use Pierce abilities twice. So he's dead. And I can't use anything else. But he's only going to give me 5 arcane, which is fine. What is this? Apply 1 powerful per rank to every ally on death. Death Sports isn't reduced at the end of the turn, so it's just a buff for him. Okay, all of the things that give me mana. Did we start with Crafted Blast? Actually, we should start with Crafted Blast. We did it the wrong way last time because this gives damage twice. So this is actually doing more damage if it's applied on the second time once the enemy is already vulnerable. Now, we've gotten enough energy, so we can get a random item. Trinket, gain 12 shield and tough. Decrease damage taken and status received by 30%. But tough is only, so that's essentially tough I think is for the first turn. Oh, this deal 4 times 4 damage to the first enemy. Now imagine if the enemy has vulnerable. Another thing we could get is brainstorm, gain overcharge. So overcharge is actually a bad thing to get because it gives you shock to yourself. And if your shock gets filled with the bar, you take double damage from next attack. But 2 shock is not much. Oh no, it's 2 shock whenever I draw a card. Oh man, that's crazy. No. Then we're gonna go for Relentless Assault. Let's an event this time. Hear some fighting sounds in the distance. Magic plants are gonna fight against a group of very dangerous elementals. I wanna fight against elementals, so because I think they're cooler, so let's do that. You hit a lucky attack as soon as you start your ambush. Both groups run away as fast as they can through the forest. You learn a good surprise tactic from this. So I can upgrade a card. So this, oh no, this is the good. I keep thinking this is wits. If I upgrade this divination, it allows me to draw 4 cards for 4 turns. And make it cheaper. Or what is it, something that we use a lot? The healing. Restore 12 health is insane. Or vulnerable to 7 times 2 damage. That's also huge. 4 times 5 damage to the first enemy. Or pierce. Let's actually upgrade the pierce because this will now do 24 damage. And we're focusing on the build anyways. Okay, so actually the trinket is an active skill. So I can activate it whenever I want. Interesting. So it's not like on the first turn, it's like on whichever turn I choose. Let's use Ice Blast. So you can see that he now has a 15 top. So the pierce actually won't do as much damage to him as I wish, but I'm still gonna use it. I'm not gonna use the shield and tough right now, I don't need to. He's giving me Doom. Take 50 damage when this, so I take 50 damage in 13 turns. And he's gonna hit me for 15. Okay, I'm gonna play Divination. Give him vulnerable, and then I'm gonna use Relentless Assault. Did a lot of damage to this. And Chilling Focus, because why not? So actually, I didn't quite manage to freeze him. But he's only hitting me for 15, so that's fine. Oh, this Doom thing. And I have vulnerable on me, that's a bit rough. Predict. I think we'll start with Chill, and follow it up with a Pierce for 20 damage. And my turn. He cannot do anything because I froze him. But the next thing is 25, which is a lot. But I can still freeze him. Between Chill and Ice Blast, I actually can make him not do anything. 10 turns to go. We're gonna kill him a lot faster than that. But this can be interesting if you have a build that essentially isn't focused on doing as much damage as quickly as we are. It can actually be pretty rough, this enemy, because you just have that time limit on you. But with the build we have, it's not a particularly difficult setup, in my opinion at least. Alright. Chilling focus. I won't be able to use the pierce to get double attack, but I still can use the basic attacks because he is vulnerable, so I can still do a lot of damage. Alright, so a lot of stuff here. I'm going to first choose a new card because then I can remove a card and I want to know what I want to remove. Deal 5 damage to all enemies, give them frostbite. So every turn they gain 3 frost and take 3 damage for 2 turns, and it gives them 5 frost, but it costs 8. Apply 10 frost, shock, and arcane to any enemy. This is insane. Or deal 12 damage to any target, give it arcane weakness. We're not really much for the arcane, but I'm going to build the elemental conflux. This is amazing. Now this gives 10 frost, so we could theoretically substitute it for not chill, but for ice blast. Because ice blast does 10 damage and 10 frost. This only does 10 frost. But it also gives shock and arcane, and if shock gets to 10, they actually do take damage immediately, so that would be a good substitute. But that card's pretty good. I think we might substitute for, I actually might get rid of some of these, like the slash. Like if you look at the Relentless Assault, it's way better than the slash. I think I'm gonna get rid of the slash here. And we can, if I upgrade this, it's going to do 13 frost shock. That's crazy. What if I upgrade this ice blast though? 14 damage, 14 frost. Let's pick that. That is just insane. Alright, I'm gonna do another rough fight because we have a lot of, maybe we should have done the depth too. We're doing, oh, but look at these guys. They're giving me 5 shock, 5 attack. So if I let them both hit me, the shock bar is going to get filled, which is very bad for me. So I'm actually going to use frost on one of them. I can actually, well, okay, I can finish it. Good. So this guy has stopped their turn, so I can do now 16 damage to him. Good. And now I'm only going to get 5 shock. This is important because, okay, so shock actually doesn't immediately hurt me. It just means I take double damage. Okay, I'm going to do 10 frost, shock, and arcane to the second guy. So what does that mean? He is shocked, so any attack is going to give him double damage, and he took damage from the arcane stuff. So if I use freezing, I'm going to be able to do a lot of, oh, I don't have enough mana for it, but it's okay, I have enough mana for it now. I'm going to use a chilling frost. Now I will get the shock, which means next time someone hits me I take double damage, but they're not hitting me yet. So if I can kill him before he hits me, which I should be able to do with this 14 blast and the relentless strike. Beautiful. Very easy fight for us. And we can get another item. Trigger the increase effect of all cards in your card. What does the increased effect mean? Gain 3 mana, gain 2 more mana if an enemy is frozen. How can we not take this? Wait, actually. Deal 6 damage to enemy, increase this value, so the increase would get, I can trigger it with my item. So this would do 9 damage from the get-go. But then I have to cycle through our deck of cards, which we're not going to be able to do that quickly. Or apply 10 shock to the first enemy, then if it's shocked, deal 6 damage to it. I've seen something similar like this with freezing, and that's actually really good build for us. I think I'm going to pick the icy concentration though, that fits our build a bit more. I'm going to have to start, let's keep moving here so we can do more like difficult fights. We gotta start using this trigger, but I don't think the trigger will do anything useful for us. Let's apply freezing on who? On the first one, so I'm gonna freeze him so that I don't get freezing. Do we use the ice blast on some of the other ones? Let's use the ice blast on this guy. So he can't do anything, and I'm only gonna get 5 arcane to me. These death sports interesting. Give vulnerable to the first 2 enemies, sure. More mana. Elemental conflux on this guy. Oh, I don't have the mana for it. So I'm just gonna gain more weight so I can draw more cards next turn. They're all giving them some shields, which is not too much of a problem for me. Oh, I got leech. Every turn take 2 damage and the owner gains 2 health. Chilling focus and prediction, anything that gives me mana. And we'll start with Frost Strike and then Relentless Assault, because Relentless Assault now applies 8 Frost, which is a lot. Okay, I killed the first enemy. They're hitting me for 11, which is fine. What is this? Poison. I take damage to poison. Okay, that's fine. Elemental Conflux. Let's do it just for fun. I know it's super expensive, so it's like, why are you using that? But it's also like fun. card, I think. I think I'll start with Chill, and then Frost Strike, and that's it. You know, ideally I would like to heal this turn. Chilling Focus and a Pierce. But this a powerful... okay. Keep having this leech on me, which is not ideal. Now we could try to not kill him, like I could use Chill. And then maybe Frost Strike, and then instead of keep using my Relentless Assault, which would kill him, I could wait one turn so that I could heal myself. Which actually I think that's a pretty good move right now. If I were to get the healing, which would have been really nice, but I'm not getting it. So actually, it would have been better to kill him because we're gonna take 7 damage. And yeah, he took a lot more damage than we needed to. So I'm gonna mend, and then I'm gonna use an Ice Blast and a Pierce to finish him off. Now, not the best move. I kind of thought it would be better. He was lowering my max health, which is a bit of a problem as well. Okay, I could get leeches myself. And to the first 2 enemies. Draw 2 if you have wits, 1 if you have adept, 1 if you have growth, and 1 if you have mana boost. I have mana boost all the time. I have growth all the time. And if I have wits, which I often have, I will be able to draw 4 cards. But for the price of 6? That doesn't seem that great. 4 cards for the price of 6? I'll take the leech. Alright, what do you do? Frost Barrier. Apply 2 frost when attacked. Oh, that's very interesting. And he reduces all status received from attacks by 2. So I'm gonna do Pierce. I will take the frost. Now 4 times 4 is going to give me 8 frost. Which would freeze me, so I'm not gonna do it. But I'm gonna gain the mana at least from that. So we gotta be careful about not like freezing ourselves, essentially. Wait, I'm gonna start with Mana Shield. If I use Ice Blast, I can stop him. Then I can use Icy Concentration. I don't want to use the Elemental Conflux right now. I'm gonna hit him even though it gives me Frost. Because it allows me to do some damage to him. He's hitting me for 18. Leech would be good because Leech is not an attack that I am doing. So I think that would be useful. I can do 10 damage to him. And deal extra 10 if he's frozen. He's not going to be frozen. It's going to give me some frost, but I don't think it's too terrible. And this will give me 2 more frost. 4 frost to him is not... So he's going to hit me for 18 here, which is not great. But I am healing a little bit. Alright, chill is good, sure. Chilling focus, healing. If I use Pierce, I'm gonna get myself up to 9. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to apply all of this. It's gonna freeze me. And then what? Oh, he gave me Frostbite. Okay, interesting. Deal 14 damage, apply 12 damage to him. Sure. Icy Concentration. And now we could do Elemental Conflux. Sure. I'm gonna use the attack because now my bar for Frost is actually higher, which is good for me. Because he can't do as much damage to him. I'm gonna do another leeching thing. And I can do 10 damage to him. But that will finish up my Frost. Let me just turn on the shield. And I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm back to my max HP. Which he lowered, but yeah, Ice Blast should finish him off. Beautiful. This is an interesting setup because he's like so protected against freezing, it wasn't so good. Okay, apply 6 frost to enemy and give it frostbite. So this is definitely an upgrade for the chill that we have, I think, because it's gonna make the enemy take continuous freezing. Ooh, enemies with shock, those are not great. Let's actually freeze one of them as soon as we can. We use the death chill on the first person and then pierce to do damage. And this person keeps having frostbite, which is always good. Elemental conflux on the other one to freeze him. Oh, he's gonna give me 8 shock though, that's crazy. Well, nothing I can do about it except take it. This instant accelerator is kind of pointless for us. Like we cannot do any, it's not gonna give us anything useful. So later on I would ideally like to maybe get rid of this and oh wow, I really wish I could freeze this person, but I can't. So I'm actually gonna grab the shield on me because I want to protect it against this attack. I would like to get rid of this item because later on you might have an option like, hey, do you want this item, but it's gonna substitute the item that you had before, and then definitely if we can get something instead of this, it would be fantastic. Yeah. Poison applied by strike hits +2. Completely irrelevant because we don't have anything that gives poison. Apply 10 shock to the first enemy if its shock deals 6 damage. Deal 8 damage to any enemy, increases value by 8 this combat. I'm gonna grab the channel blast and try to use our increased ability on this. If we rest, is my HP gonna go back to 100? Let's give it a shot. Yes, it does. Okay. I can also remove a card. What card though? Got the apply 6 frost. Oh, this gives poison. That's interesting. What is there to remove though? Like, I'm not sure. Maybe the predict. Or this channel boss, we don't really care about this card much. Now I'm gonna get rid of the predict so that we can draw more other useful cards, I guess. Wait, I'm gonna start with the chill so that we can get more mana. Oh, he's not frozen? Really? So we'll use the elemental flux, then we'll use icy concentration and mana shield, and now I can use pierce to do a lot of damage. Oh, they got powerful because I killed the first guy, but I think still it was a good decision. Now we have enough block to block all the damage to us, but we gotta focus on the arcane here. Mind Seed, chilling focus. We'll start with the Frost Strike and then with the Lacerating Strike, which gives them both poison and freezing. They take 6 damage of poison per turn. That's interesting. And I have a Frost Rune. Apply 2 frost per attack hit. Yeah, definitely good. And Growth, which gives me more max mana. 10 Arcane to me. That's rough. So if I activate this Instant Accelerator, this now does 11 damage. And 2 frost. So I could use the Ice Blast and the Channel Blast to freeze this thing. And then we'll use Pierce to do 12 damage to it. I will still take the Arcana hit, unfortunately. But I think it was worth it anyways. Alright, definitely leeches. Channeled Blast. Let's do Corrupted Blast first. Yeah, I think that's better. They have so many buffs on themselves. Powerful, leeches, vulnerable. They got like everything. Elemental Conflux would allow me to hurt this one if I got enough mana for it. Yeah, let's do it. And we'll play Divination so we can draw more cards next turn. We need to draw more of the cards that give us like more mana, like Mind Seed and Chilling Focus. Ice Blast will let me freeze this thing. And that, and I can heal a little bit. I'll get the 12 shock, which is not great, so I'll take damage, but I think that's okay. Right. Leech will kill this first person, so we don't have to, actually, this other vulnerable attack killed it too. Then we should use chill. It won't allow us to freeze anybody though. And we need to use ice concentration first anyway, so. At least I give this person frostbite. We've got one more leech, so it's not going to be enough to kill it. Yeah, I feel like we need more cards that actually give us mana or card draw, whichever one of those really. 17 damage. I think I'm gonna start with the vulnerable, then the channel blast, and then relentless assault. Oh, I can't use that. Okay, never mind. Still, I think it was a good choice the way we went. More leeches, pierce, and a frostbite. Great. We have won once again. Alright, so this is the end of this deck of cards, or of this round, I should say. Oh, we just didn't get enough to level him up, but that's okay. But now we have more money, so what we can do in the forge is we can now get an upgrade. For example, we could begin each round with the 30 bonus energy from my artifact, or with more options to rest. Or we could unlock a new character here. If I'm okay, not enough money for the market stall, but if we start a new round, we could get a new character. Alright, but I think we're gonna end the episode here. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, write down in the comments, and you can click on the right to watch some other roguelike deck builders that run this channel. See you there. Bye bye.